Welcome to the Mr. Real to Real podcast with MICAAL Stevens, where I keep it all the way real to real.
My adrenaline, how will I lose? Battlefield certified, I done paid dues.
My adrenaline, my drive non-stop, street gang battle tested, spread my name block to block.
My adrenaline, rise to the top, cornbread champion, cream of the crop.
My adrenaline pushes me around the clock, get dough, smoke pro, swagged out, top notch.
Let's go 2023. I am here to blow the podcast game out the frame. Everything I speak, go to the gram, the top, the tube, and check my receipts. I'm cashing in 25 years, blood, sweat, tears. I went from mug shots to head shots. I'm talking about Supermax to set. Welcome to Mr. Real to Real with MICAAL Stevens. This is the pilot episode. I am here to bring you the biggest, baddest, and best podcast of 2023. This is going to be epic. This season is going to be amazing. Again, we're doing 25 years. I've been an actor since the open call for Belly in 1997. I got that one opportunity and I ran away with it. The arts saved me. And it was an amazing transition because a lot of you don't know, but I've had a very, very checkered past. And I'm an award-winning filmmaker, and everything is inside of my autobio documentary, Mr. Real to Real. But it's just been an amazing journey, and I am willing to share every step of the way with you, set by set, step by step, like I said. We are going to do this, and you are going to be in for an amazing season. So again, for those of you who don't know, I am MICAAL Stevens, Mr. Real to Real. Actor, filmmaker, casting, stunts, voiceover, puppeteer work. I have just had an amazing career. And again, I come from a very, very, very checkered background. And that is the reason why I have to do this show. It's because it's important for me to put my story out there because it's amazing. The journey and the transition that I've had has just been amazing. And a lot of people know, but a lot of people don't know. And it's just time to put that out there through this podcast, Mr. Real to Real with MICAAL Stevens. So again, we're going to start this journey with basically the open call with Belly. And that's how everything started. But a little bit before that, to give you a little bit of who your host is, MICAAL Stevens. I am born and raised in Roosevelt, Long Island. That is Nassau County in New York. That's where I'm from, Roosevelt. So born and raised in Roosevelt, raised in a little bit in Hempstead, but mainly Roosevelt. And then I moved to Harlem because my father was living in Harlem. He lived uptown. So moved with dad for a minute, went to George Washington High School, and things was great. Moved back to Long Island and ended up moving down south. So my mom ended up moving me to Columbia, South Carolina. And that's where things changed. And I went from being my sports dreams of being in the NBA, NFL, all that kind of went south. Literally, it went south. And I ended up into the illegitimate world. And that ended up with me being incarcerated. So that's pretty much your host's life. And quickly, that's how it happened. So when I came home from incarceration, that's when I went to the open call for the film Belly. So from the open call for the film Belly, that's how I was introduced into the entertainment world and business. So I had a cousin that was living with us in New York. And I told him about the open call for the film Belly about a week prior to him coming to me that morning and saying, hey, man, today's that open call. And I'm like, man, look, I really am not in the mood for that. I'm not dealing with that. You need to go take care of that. And he's like, well, it's in Manhattan. And I don't know my way around Manhattan that well. So I feel like you should go with me. And if you go with me, you know, I'll be safer and I know my way. I said, man, look, New York is easy, man. Just go get off the train at Penn Station. Just ask somebody which way, you know, it's easy, man. Just ask a cop. So he came back the second time. He was like, man, come on, like, you need to go with me. So something told me to go. So I ended up going to the open call for the film Belly. Now, we arrive at the open call at the last minute because when we're getting there, it's kind of like closing down. And I remember walking in and just observing the situation and observing the scene. And, you know, we ended up in line. But when I got a piece of paper in my hand, it had a social security number on it. Now, I had just saw an episode of America's Most Wanted, one of my favorite shows, about maybe a week or two before this situation. And they had something going on in Florida where they had told people they wanted to hire people for employment and they really were not. It was really the police trying to catch people. So I thought it was a trap. I thought the open call was just a trap. I was like, nah. So I kind of like fell back from the line and kind of eased out the line. So when I did that, there was a casting director that was watching the whole situation from afar and I didn't know it. So she approached me and we had some words and she ended up persuading me to go to the open call. So I ended up, you know, after talking to her for a few, I said, okay, cool. So I stood in line for the open call. Now, at the open call, it was the director, the producer, it was Hype Williams, it was Big Dog Productions, it was the writers, it was kind of colorful. But now, remember, I'm not from this world, so I have no clue. I'm not the usual suspects. I don't know who Hype. I've seen all Hype Williams music videos, but I never looked at the bottom of the video to say, oh, that was directed by Hype. So I didn't know I didn't know who Hype was. So at the open call, you know, I'm standing on the X on the floor and they're like, okay, what's your name? I'm like, my name is MICAAL. They're like, where you from? I said, I'm from LI, you know, from Nassau, I'm from the Veld. They're like, okay, what do you do? I'm like, you know, I hustle. So we got that. Like, they're like, what do you mean you hustle? I'm like, you know, I hustle. Like, I get money. Like, I get dough. They like, oh, you get dough. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm down south getting dough. Like, I'll be getting real money. So I'm just like flexing. And, you know, some words went back and forth. I don't know nothing about the script, nothing about Belly, nothing. I'm just talking. And next thing you know, they was like, yo, I like this guy. And I ended up getting a slip of paper, which I still save to this day. It's like my college degree. And it says, congratulations, you've been selected to audition for Hype Williams' film Belly. And after 4 auditions, the phone call came and I got into the business. And that's how I went down. And so after the open call and after booking the film, one morning, I'm just sitting around, you know, and I'm in the bed, you know, just doing me. My mom comes downstairs and it's like, hey, somebody's on the phone for you. I'm like, what do you mean somebody's on the phone for me? She's like, I don't know, but it sounds like it's important. So, like I told y'all in the trailer, there's going to be untold stories in this season of Mr. Real to Real MICAAL Stevens. And of course, I'm going to bring you one in the pilot. So, as a season, you will know who. But as of this point in the pilot, I was called to set the first day of shooting because my character was getting ready to change. I repeat, I was called the first day of shooting because my character was getting ready to change. So my first film, I was booked as the character Killer. And I had 18 lines and 4 scenes in Belly. and I ended up getting shot by Nas. But before that, I was called to set on day one, and my character was getting ready to change. You'll hear about all that in the season. So my first day on set, I got to hang out with Hype. I got to meet DMX. Took pictures, I had a ball. And that was my introduction. So hanging out on Belly, I worked on, Hype wanted me to be on set because he said, I want you to learn, I want you to see things. So I stayed on set. We was at the tunnel. I worked on the tunnel with them. I went to Jersey. I was on set maybe 5 or 6 days and just hanging out with X, taking pictures every day. So me and X have a lot of photos together, and it's funny because Nas on set is hilarious because Nas used to always call me. He used to always say, "Yo, you the Kodak God." He used to call me the Kodak God. That's what Nas used to say. "Yo, you the Kodak God," and I used to be like, "Yo, I was just taking flicks because that's what I knew. That's what I know to take flicks. That's what we do. We take flicks. Like we just flick it up." So I was shocked that they weren't taking flicks, but I did. And that's why another part of Mr. Really Real, MICAAL Stevens, is you will know about my pictorial book. I have a picture book. I've been taking pictures. I got pictures of Nas, pictures of Big Pun, pictures of DMX, pictures of, I was shooting everywhere. And it's just ended up now, when I look back on it, I have a book. So anyway, the next project, while being on set shooting Love Goggles, somebody called me about Cameron's video. They said, "Yo, Cam's doing a video." And I'm like, Cam? Now I'm diehard Cameron. Like I'm all the way Cam. And this is before Dipset. This was just Cameron. And I'm like, "Yo, Cam's video for Horse and Carriage with Mace?" And they said, "Yeah, it's a 2-day call." Now I was already on a 2-day call, but on the first day. So my first entertainment decision making was, do I stay on Love Goggles or do I go to this Horse and Carriage video? So, of course, it was all about Mason Bethea. We gonna rise to the top. So yes, I showed up to Cam's video. And it was an amazing shoot. Day one, we were at a club scene. I made the cut. I'm all up in the beginning of the video, outside the club, yelling like, "Yo, Cam, what up, what up?" They showed me. Then they got me a cutaway up in the club where I'm in the club bopping and everything. So it was going down. So now we on day 2. And on day 2, we're at the pool scene. So I remember that they had Cam's boys there. And I remember the director, somehow was like, it just led up to telling like people like, "Yo, look, y'all." So it was like, so basically they had his boys in the pool with him and they weren't singing the hook. So was like, "Yo, y'all just standing there. Y'all not singing the hook." He was like, "Sing the hook." So he shot it again. They didn't sing the hook. So was like, "Everybody get the fuck out the pool except Cam and the girls." He's like, "Hey, get the fuck." Yo, he was going off. And then he looked to the crowd. He said, "Anybody that want to sing the hook, get the fuck in the pool." That's what he said. I was like, "Yo, get the pool." Right? So I was like, I was new to the game. I was like, yo, I had a Movado watch on. And I dove in the pool, yo. I didn't even take my watch off. Like, yo, I was like, yo, I jumped in the pool so fast. So, and I just went right next to Cam, like, let's fucking do this. Like, yo, let's do this. Because see, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Being from New York and growing up in Columbia, South Carolina, and being around schools like Benedict College, schools like SC State, you know what I'm saying, schools like Allen, you know what I mean? All those schools in like North Carolina, like, you know what I'm saying? Like St. Augustine's, that whole, college cipher. I grew up around like, just like, the Step In, and, you know, just people like that weren't college affiliated, but they were just lit. Like, people would just have fun dancing. Even though it was down south dancing, it was still dancing. So I know how to get it lit, because that's just what it's about. So when I knew Cam was in the pool, so now we getting ready to shoot the scene again. And of course, when that hook came around, man, I sang that hook like it was a old Negro spiritual. I let it go. And they was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So then they did it again, and we nailed it. So that was my first joint, was the actual, you know, Cam Ron's Horse and Carriage, and I had a ball in that video, and I took pictures again. So I got pictures on Jimmy, Cam, like everybody, Trackmasters, Wyclef, Praz, Can I Bus? Everybody was there, man. It was going down. So then after that, got a call for Jay-Z's Hard Knock Life video. So I'm in the Hard Knock Life video, and a little something happened on set that I never ever forget. It was one of my first moments of learning the business can change at any given moment. So on the set of the Hard Knock Life video, I remember I was going to be in the video, in the scene actually with Jay-Z. I was in the stoop scene. So we got ready to shoot the stoop scene, and we already set it up. Everything was lined up. And then all of a sudden Dame pulls up, and Dame had some news about some business ventures they had going on, because he was like, yo, come here, y'all, let me tell you what happened. So they all gathered up and they talked about what happened. And then all of a sudden he said, all right, so where we at right now? And they talked about where we're at right now. And I was removed from the stoop scene, and Dame was pulled into the stoop scene. And that was history in the making right there. But they put me in another scene because they had hired me to be a basketball player. And I had actually did some casting on the Hard Knock Life video. And you will find all that out in the season of Mr. Real with MICAAL Stevens. You'll find out, you know, I'm just giving you pretty much the bullet points and the highlights of some of the things that had happened early on in my career, and some of the things that you will see as the show continues to go on. So basically, that was so they moved me to a scene where they wanted our war faces. So I'm in the scene actually where Jay-Z says, I'm from the school of the hard knocks. We don't let violators violate our blocks. You see me right there. Then he says, another part of the video where he says, I went from green machines to green fives. I seen pies through my eyes. Well, those are my eyes. Yeah, those are my eyes. And that's gonna segue us to my next project that I did, which was DMX's Rough Rider Anthem. So for all of y'all right now, let's just get this straight. For all y'all right now, in the DMX's Rough Rider Anthem video, that is not Fredro Starr that is in the beginning of the video. That is yours truly. Yes, with the bandana on, with the R, jumping up in the camera in the very, very beginning of the video. That is I. Yes. And Rough Rider Anthem video. Yes. So those basically were like the 4 projects that I actually did that were like my more highlights. So I did the acting game, and I was in New York from 97, 98, 99, 2000. And in 2001, I took the show on the road to LA, and I went out to LA, and basically everything took off in LA. My first job in LA was through Christopher Gray Casting. I remember I went to, it was just background casting, and I went to the SAG office in LA. I got the little printout, and they showed me all the places that did background. And the first one that I can register that was closest was on Melrose, and it was Christopher Gray Casting. So as soon as I went in to register, my first job in LA was the movie Beauty Shop. And I booked that through Christopher Gray Casting. Got out to LA, went to the SAG office, got my pamphlet on all the background castings, and actually just they were the closest one on Melrose, so I went and registered with them, Christopher Gray Casting, and they sent me on my first job, which was beauty shop, and I was in the club scene in the beauty shop when Queen Latifah, she wins like something about getting like a deal for the hair ointment or the hair gel, and she's like, "Let's go party," and then it cuts to us in the club, and I had a couple of, you had to just pause it and look like, that's me right there. Like, hold up, pause it right there. Yeah, that's me right there. Yeah. But at least I'm there. Where was you at? So, it all what it is. So then, LA just, took off. And, so basically that's how I started the industry. Now, here's what makes this show amazing, and it makes this podcast the best podcast that you are going to have in 2023. If you love real podcasts, then you're in the right place, because this podcast is going to have stories on top of stories on top of stories of 25 full years of me acting. That's it, period. I'm going to slide in a few of my moonlight. I also have moonlighted in the 25 years with the construction business, and I will highlight sometimes of showing you how I went from $7.25 an hour. Yes, I used to be a laborer in Atlanta at Staff Zone in East Point for $7.25 an hour. I used to make $64 a day, sometimes $48 a day. And that same $7.25 turned into $22.50, working 70 hours a week and working on some of the biggest jobs in Atlanta, which were the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and the Phillips Arena to State Farm Arena renovation, which was the second biggest arena renovation in U.S. history. I repeat, the Phillips Arena renovation to State Farm Arena was the second biggest arena renovation in U.S. history. And I worked 70 hours a week in one phase. And that phase lasted for months. And I'm gonna highlight a few things, because remember, this Mr. Real to Real with MICAAL Stevens is just about hard work, determination, success. Nobody telling you no, just going for it. Because when I was given that one opportunity in 97, I ran away with it. So we're going to just give you a weekly show, because the one thing about me is that I save every single solitary thing. So when I do a job, I write a vanilla envelope, and I write the time, the date, and I write what it is, and I put the contents in the vanilla envelope, period. So I have everything in chronological order. So each week, the show deals with my current events, mainly entertainment based, mainly film, TV, and commercial, and that whole, my award-winning film. So many things, we just stick to that. But like I said, the construction is there. I will slide that in, because I just want to inspire you. That's all I want to do. I'm just selling hope. You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell people. I used to sling dope. Now I sell hope. That's all. Because it's my job to do this. It's like, I want my story told. And I want to tell my own story. I don't want nobody telling my story for me. I don't want to be gone, because I see how it's so easy to be gone. That's one of the reasons why this podcast is happening right now, because I can't really speak on it, but there was a life-changing moment, I can say, on May 14th of 2022. That's what I can say. It was a life-changing moment. I repeat, May 14th, 2022. It was a life-changing moment. And it awakened me to a lot, because it could have been over. I saw it. I honestly, Mr. Real to Real, MICAAL Stevens, has cheated death at least 3 or 4 times. I remember being a teenager And growing up in Long Island, going to Jones Beach, we used to play chicken. And playing chicken is you see who can swim out the furthest. And I remember swimming out. I always have to be the baddest and the toppest. And I remember swimming out. And I remember being snatched by current and being pulled left and right, up and down. I remember just never fighting the current, just letting the current take you. But I almost drowned. Honestly, like I really almost drowned because when when the current took me and the riptide took me, it just threw me around. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know which way to go. I didn't know. And just something made me go the right way. And I started seeing shore, but I was totally not supposed to be here. And I saw the riptide. It just let me go at the last moment. Then there was another time we were at the beach playing chicken where we all grab each other's hands and you go down. And the person that lets up and goes back up first, the person that lasts is so I ended up winning, but I was down deep. So I started going back up, and for some reason I could see the moon, but I really couldn't make it. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? And I really couldn't make it. And I had to really, and I made it at the last second. I remember like as soon as I ate water, I broke water. I broke the surface. So, so that situation on, May 14th of 2022 wasn't new to me, but it definitely awakened me because it was over. Like everything was over. My whole empire, everything was just a wrap. So that made me say, you know what? This is serious. And then I had a birthday now. My birthday was on January 4th. I turned the big 5'2". Like I'm like big homie. And the only thing I can do as big homie is help the little homies. It's just, so I'm doing this podcast to inspire people and tell them, look what I did. Because honestly, I really literally went from mug shots to headshots. I seriously went from Supermax to set. But I changed my life mentally. And that's what you have to do this. And I'm here to show my story. And I'm here to tell you, like, I didn't do everything perfect. Trust me, in this 25 years, I did a lot. But I also did more, and the majority I did well, and I did good. So you're definitely going to enjoy this season of Mr. Real to Real with MICAAL Stevens. It's an amazing show, and it's going to take you places that you never can go. So each week, like I said, we highlight my chronicles, and we have another treat for you in the show. We are going to have camcorder tapes. There was a few years, I just carried my camcorder with me. Everywhere I would go around LA, had my camcorder with me, and I would just shoot. I would talk to the camcorder in the morning, talk to it in the afternoon, talk to it at night. Sometimes I talk to it every day. Sometimes I talk to it every few days. And the one thing that was interesting about the camcorder tapes, I got tired of setting the camera. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to start shooting my cell phone. So I would actually press play on the camcorder, and then I would shoot my cell phone. And that will allow me to timestamp the video. And I never knew that would take to play. Because like I said, these tapes are from like 2001, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that whole little era. I just had a camcorder with me. So now when, I can filter through those tapes, I can bring people to those times of me. When I moved to LA, I didn't have an agent, and I ended up getting a commercial agent. I ended up getting a theatrical agent, and I shot the whole throw. Like everything was there. So we have a lot of treats, again, I have a pictorial book that I've been working on for a while. And, we will get into that inside the season. I had a couple of deals on the table. One was a deal for a television show where they wanted to license some of my pictures, but they wanted to pay a price that I wasn't willing. I wanted top tier because the pictures are top tier. and they weren't willing to pay top tier. So I just said, okay. And then I had another book deal where they wanted some lifelong percentages. I'm like, nah, I ain't doing none of that. Gotta be kidding me. But so yeah, we're gonna get into, my award-winning film. It's like a short film, and it's still stuck as a short film for years, and it should be a feature. But we'll learn. Like I said, we're gonna get into great shows. So each week you will have a great show that will speak on the real to real. It will be amazing stories. So just stay tuned, stay with us. You will be happy, you'll be inspired, it will make you optimistic. I mean, just all the things that you need to be successful will be there in the Mr. Really Real MICAAL Stevens. So, Season 1, Episode 1, March 1st. Be there.